All right, so how about now we dive into some news, this week's news, and we got quite a bit of it. So let's go ahead and get this thing cracking here, and we'll start it off with one that's a little bit of a bummer. E3 has officially been canceled for 2023, and the ESA said in an interview with GamesIndustry.biz that like they didn't really confirm or deny their plans for an E3 in 2024. I got to be honest. I think that this is like the nail in the coffin. E3 2020, and it's not the nail in the coffin. Let me take that back. This is like the mold growing along the sides of the fucking decomposing, decaying corpse. Like it's E3 has been dying since Sony pulled out in 2019, 2018 or 29. The last year that Sony was there, the year after that, E3 kind of became a bit of a mess. And then of course the pandemic didn't help things at all. But then you had like, I think the 2021 E3 was the one that they did like the digital showcases and shit. That was abysmal, man. Absolutely abysmal. And it's just it's been slowly dying and slowly losing its relevance over time. And that sucks because I do have a ton of nostalgia for E3 and, you know, sitting around with some buddies and waiting for that Sony press conference and waiting for that Xbox press conference and waiting for that Nintendo press conference. Like that shit was so fun to see the new games pop up and, you know, the live component of seeing if anyone would slip up, if the game would actually run, if they were playing it in live time, if the game would actually run, if there'd be any big blunders or any big presentation blunders. And it was just, there were so many iconic moments at E3. But I'm going to be honest. There have been showcases post E3 that, or I guess I should say outside of E3 lately in the past like couple years, that rival anything that E3 has ever had, any showcase that has ever been at E3. You know, like that 2021 PlayStation, or was it 2020, 2021? The one that had Knights of the Old Republic, that debuted, the remake of Knights of the Old Republic that debuted for that PlayStation showcase. And Marvel's Wolverine, or Insomniac's Wolverine, and Insomniac's Spider-Man 2, and I think that was the first time we ever saw God of War Ragnarok gameplay. Like that was an excellent showcase that is on par with anything we ever saw at E3. And like you look at Xbox's 2021, which was technically associated with E3, but they can do those showcases without E3. Like it's not going to hurt them at all to not be at E3. And I understand a lot of the press and the media can be bummed out about this because they're, you know, losing access to like some of those preview events, and that drives a ton of traffic to their websites and to their YouTubes and all that shit. And I get that. That does suck. But in terms of like us, just the general public who watches these events to learn more about upcoming games and to get hyped and to have those big like shocking moments, I just, you look at Keighley's Game Awards last year, like the big titles debuting there. Judas and Death Stranding 2 and like that's a damn good Game Awards. That was like Hades 2. You know, that was a great Game Awards that is on par with a lot of the best ever E3 showcases. And so it's like, I don't know if us, the general public, I don't know if we're really going to you know what? It really depends on what replaces E3. And I know Keighley is talking about June 8th. He's going to have his Summer Games Fest, like big event. That's really the key. What's going to replace E3? If it's going to be, you know, this prolonged, like 2-month stretched out, bloated thing where we get a little bit of info every day on new games, then yeah, it'll be a bummer to not have E3 of that condensed, boiled down, like big showcases where you can get a lot of info about the biggest games in the span of a couple days. Because I think that's what we want, or at least that's what I want. I want to have that Super Bowl of games. I want to have that WrestleMania, when WrestleMania rolls around, it's like one big week of games, one big weekend of games. The Super Bowl, one big weekend that's all about, or I should say, when WrestleMania rolls around, it's one big week talking specifically. Everything is revolving around wrestling. When the Super Bowl rolls around that weekend, everything is about football. And with E3, it really did feel like that. So that's the big thing that will be missing without E3 around, unless if this showcase, this June 8th showcase that Keighley puts on, is taking like the biggest shit from the third parties. Because, Xbox, they have their first party stuff covered. They're going to have their big showcases with first party. PlayStation's going to have their big showcases with their first party stuff. Nintendo's going to have their directs with their first party stuff. And it's the third parties who are kind of in that weird territory where it's without E3, where are they going to land? Where are they going to end up? And as of right now, it's like either Gamescom or they're going to end up at the Game Awards. And if Keighley can have a big summer showcase for like the big heavy hitters on June 8th, where he, instead of Ubisoft having their ridiculous Ubisoft forwards, instead of Take-Two having their ridiculous press conferences and Capcom with their spotlights and shit, and you can still have those. But if I guess, once again, perfect scenario here would be if Keighley called up those third-party publishers and was like, look, Ubisoft, hit me with your Avatar trailer. Let me use it for this Summer Games Fest June 8th event. And, you can go to the Ubisoft forward later on to get more information about it, but I just want the quick sizzle, a little bit of gameplay. Let me show off that Avatar game for my Summer Games Fest big event. Go to Capcom. You got fucking Devil May Cry 6 lined up, a cinematic reveal trailer. Let me grab that. Go to Take-Two. You got probably not Grand Theft Auto, but let's say BioShock. You got the reboot of BioShock lined up. Let me get that. Let me get just a quick cinematic glimpse of that. You go to who else are we got Ubisoft, Capcom, EA with their EA Plays. EA, let me grab your new trailer for fucking the Dead Space 2 remake, and then boom, they are the new Iron Man game that EA Motive's working on, or the Respawn first-person shooter games that they supposedly have in development, the Respawn Star Wars first-person shooters that they supposedly have in development. So let me get like the big heavy hitters, pop those up at my Summer Games Fest like one day showcase, and then it's a 2-hour thing, hour and 30 minutes, whatever it needs to be. Obviously you're going to have your ads and stuff rolling in there. Then you go to your double A's, you get some big stuff from the double A's. You go to your indies, you get some big stuff from the indies, and you got a full day of games where we can like all gather together, get hyped, and really show a spotlight on like the big upcoming stuff in the industry in that one day. And then if you want to have a full Summer Games Fest after that, stretched out over the course of a month or a couple weeks or whatever, it is what it is. But to have that big day where everything kind of stops and revolves around the world of gaming for a day, I think that's so crucial to getting more eyeballs on it, and then just having a big event that we can all kind of gather around, and then just get excited for. It's hard to stay excited whenever you're drip fed little bits of information over the course of a couple months for a Summer Games Fest, like very prolonged thing. But I think Keighley, I just don't think that he is going to, when he's seeing the ESA stumbling and seeing E3 slowly start to melt away, like, I feel that dude, I feel like he is going to be on the ball and take advantage of their stumbling. He, say what you will, the dude is definitely very passionate about video games and getting more eyeballs on video games. And he's been working in the industry since like the late 80s, I believe, like starting up his own fan websites. And dude has been around and definitely has a passion, like a clear passion for this industry. So if everything just goes to if the whole gaming world is in Keighley's hands, like, it is what it is. I don't think that's bad hands for the big press conference showcase events to be in the hands of. Like, I think he's done a damn good job. Look at what the Game Awards are doing. Like, there's been some blunders and some not so great Game Awards showcases, but last year was fucking excellent. I think 2020 or 2021 was a fucking excellent showcase as well. There's been some fantastic Game Awards, and I have to believe if he started up a big showcase for a E3 replacement and just like one big event, I feel like he would fucking. I feel like he has the connections. He has the know-how to put together a show like that. Like, I think it'll probably be a good replacement for E3. And I'm not wishing for the death of E3 if it still comes back and it rolls back around. Like, I don't think there is anything wrong with having two, but the way E3 has been going, like, there's no way I could tune in to another repeat of the 2021 one where you're tuning in for Capcom to announce nothing. You're tuning in to Take-Two to literally just hear people talking, or you're tuning in to like that shit was abysmal, absolutely abysmal. So I really do hope that this condensed, just one focused showcase that Keighley's putting together, I hope that does take off and it is like a valuable replacement for E3. So it's a bummer that E3 is canceled, but I think I'm confident with the direction that it seems to be going with this one event that Keighley's putting together. So we'll see.